More now in our politics lead. All options are open. That's what Donald Trump told CNN last night when asked what might happen if he decides he's not being treated fairly by the Republican powers that be. But with leads in virtually every poll, Trump very well could wind up the Republican nominee. Let's talk about Trump's poll supremacy with CNN political commentator and Jeb Bush supporter Ana Navarro, as well as Democratic strategist Steve McMahon. Anna, there is a story in the Washington Post, just broke this afternoon, from Bob Costa, who's very plugged in with Republican politicians. And it talks about Reince Priebus meeting with a bunch of Republican officials. The topic of discussion became at one point preparing for a contested convention, a floor fight, to block Trump from getting the nomination. And what they were talking about, according to Costa's report, is in case Trump sails through and wins all the primaries, the Republican establishment should get ready to try to block it on the floor of the convention in Cleveland by presenting an alternative to Trump. This is really the state of the Republican Party right now.
I have no idea. I mean, I think that's a question, frankly, for Reince Priebus. I think there is a great deal of concern in the Republican Party when you see Donald Trump leading and when you realize, number one, he's been a Republican for what? A few years now. He's been everything but a Republican for the rest of his life. Number two, he's really costing the GOP brand so much harm. There's a lot of us, like myself, who think with Hispanics, with Muslims, with blacks, with, name a group, he's causing great harm to the brand. And, look, and then the third thing is he keeps this threat alive about, well, I might break my pledge and I might go run independent. So you have to prepare for every single contingency with Donald Trump because you don't know what you're going to get.
See, are Democrats happy about this? I mean, is this like we are Hillary Clinton?
They're not happy, they're giddy.
No candidate is perfect.
I don't mean to giggle, but yes, Anna's right. We are giddy, in one sense. I mean, obviously delighted if Donald Trump were the nominee because Hillary Clinton would have an easy time with him. However, I agree with Anna. You cannot have a Republican Party and a Republican brand that stands for the kinds of things that Donald Trump says every single day. And frankly, not enough people, until recently, have denounced the things that he's been saying. He's been saying these crazy things for a very long time. And until very recently, every other Republican would stand up there on the stage right next to him and nod their head, and they wouldn't challenge him. Now you're starting to see the Republican establishment freak out and try to figure out how to deny him the nomination if he breezes through the primaries. But this should have happened a long time ago. And frankly, the Republican Party did this to themselves, and they may just lose not just a presidential, but the United States Senate and Congress as well.
I've got to say, I think that's a little unfair. Time and time again, voices have come out. When he said the things about the Mexicans, when he said the things about the immigrants, when he went after the POWs, time and time again, you have heard voices in the Republican Party rise up. The problem is that it doesn't do any good. It almost helps him. You see his numbers rise, so you almost have to look at it strategically. Should we rise against him?
Let me show you what the problem is according to Republican officials. And we should point out he's gaining support. These aren't chickens that are saying they want to support him in the election. It's voters. It's Republican voters. But here is the big concern among Republicans. Take a listen to S.E. Cupp, who is a Republican, last night on CNN saying she would rather Republicans lose the White House than Donald Trump win it.
The damage he's doing is lasting to our party and to the conservative movement. So, yeah, I'd rather sacrifice the White House for 1 year and not be associated with this kind of rhetoric, not be in a position to have to go on television and defend Japanese internment camps and Operation Wetback and religious tests and then explain to my kids why I did that on television. I'd rather lose the White House and protect the integrity of the conservative movement and the Republican Party for years to come.
That's the big concern. Republican women like S.E. Cupp, especially women, but also maybe some men, actually just sitting out and not voting.
Try being a Republican Hispanic immigrant woman and ask me how I feel about it. Look, it's very disconcerting.
Do you feel the same way as S.E.?
I cannot get myself to believe that Donald Trump is going to be the nominee.
How many polls do you need?
Many more than this. Maybe what I need is election results, but right now I'm going to firmly plant myself in the denial stage of grief, and I'm going to stay here until the poll results prove it differently.
So if the Republican establishment is serious about wanting to stop Donald Trump, there's really only one way to do it. He cannot win a head-to-head race one-on-one. He can win every single primary as long as there are 10 candidates. So what the Republican establishment should be doing is they should be trying to figure out who they're going to coalesce around, and they should be asking everybody else who's running, as a service to the Republican Party that has served them so well for so long, to get out of the race. Lindsey Graham shouldn't be running. There are a lot. You can just go down the list. Probably Jeb Bush, at this point, given his poll numbers, shouldn't be running. Somebody has to be mano a mano with Donald Trump in order to beat him, or Donald Trump is going to be the nominee. If there are 5 candidates past March 15th, Donald Trump is going to win the delegates, take it to the bank.